100 years ago, whitetail were few and far between. There was only certain areas you could go. Now, all these destinations we go have different whitetails in different areas that it's really fun to learn how to hunt in those specific areas. This week, Allan Rovig of McWhorter Custom Rifles, he's headed to the North Platte River with EWA Outfitters. And as usual, Allan's chasing the monster.
Well, it's the middle of the rut, middle of November, a magical time for whitetail hunters, and this is a great area. We get there, we look around the area, it's just the best whitetail habitat I've seen in a long time. This Platte River just runs all the way through all the property that we can hunt. Great anticipation this hunt to come along the North Platte River in Nebraska. Well, it's the middle of the rut, middle of November, a magical time for whitetail hunters, and this year we're going back to Nebraska. This is a great area. We get there, we look around the area, it's just the best whitetail habitat I've seen in a long time. This Platte River just runs all the way through all the property that we can hunt. Great duck habitat, just world-class duck hunting on this place, but also some giant whitetails. A whole lot of food, a whole lot of cover. They're confined to this river bottom for the most part. Not to say there's not any outside of that, but the majority of the big bucks are on that river bottom. So great anticipation this hunt to come along the North Platte River in Nebraska.
You know, we're talking about brush country monsters. I have to think that this kind of falls into that category. This property here, prairie swamp, is about as brushy as it needs to be. This natural crossing, this little funnel, just keeps all the deer coming through. And what I love about it, besides the funnel, is the current. That's spring-fed slough current, the best you'll ever see. Crazy, but it keeps an open water source for the deer and everything else. And nothing is prettier than that view right there. Why would it be? But this cover that it dissects. I mean, the views when you're sitting in a deer stand, just up and down these corridors of things crossing is incredible.
As an added treat, I'm getting to hunt with a good friend and customer, Bubba Belk. Bubba knows where the big bucks are, and Bubba had talked to me about this hunt for a couple of years and kind of nudged me into doing it. So I couldn't wait to spend some time in this great whitetail area and some time with Bubba Belk. Well, it's November the 12th, and we're in central Nebraska on a whitetail hunt. It's opening day. It's about 25 degrees. We got a light south wind, and we're going to take about a 15-minute ride and get in our blind, and hopefully we'll kill one of these big Nebraska Cornhusker bucks first thing this morning. For the first morning, Larry puts us on a place down right on the Platte River. It's a real thick area. We get in there real early in the morning, got a little small irrigated food plot. Right from the first hint of daylight, we start hearing wildlife. We hear a giant bull way off in the distance, and we just kind of start cow calling back, just kind of kidding around, playing around, because we know it's not going to bother the whitetails. And this bull gets closer and closer and closer. And we saw a few whitetail does, but then we see this group of elk, all the cows, and this bull is right in this little small food plot right in front of us. Meanwhile, our friend Bubba Belk is hunting with Larry. Larry's filming for him. They're about 2 miles up the river from us, and they're having a whole lot more whitetail action.
Think he'll qualify as my call buck?
I think so. He's a good-looking deer.
Let's get him dead.
Brush Country Monsters is brought to you by McWhorter Custom Rifles, the most accurate hunting rifles in the world. Yeti Coolers, built for the wild. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, real Texas barbecue. Safari Club International Foundation, first for wildlife. And Hoff Power Auto and Outdoor Stores, over 50 years in Central Texas, and we couldn't have stuck around this long if we were steering you wrong. Brush Country Monsters is brought to you by Chupacabra Rub. Put it on meat, put it on veggies, put it on Texas. Swarovski Optique, see the unseen. Hart Rifle Barrels, unparalleled performance, handcrafted one at a time. Burger Bullets, shoot better, shoot burger. And John Burrell's High Adventure Company, the finest collection of big game hunting, wing shooting, and sport fishing destinations in the world.
Bubba knew what the deal was. Bubba and Larry are sitting together about 2 or 3 miles from us, and we get a text from them real early.
You think he'll qualify as my call buck?
I think so. He's a good-looking deer.
Let's get him dead.
I miss him?
No, he's running to the right.
Is he?
He's fixing to go.
Is he sick?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I've been dreaming about hunting this piece of ground for 5 years, and my good buddy Larry finally got me on it. Been here sitting a total of about 30 minutes. Got her done.
Big 8.
Big 8. I love them. I love them big 8s. We barely got settled in, and the field was full of deer. This is a whitetail hunter's dream.
Our good friend Bubba Belk has got a trophy buck down in the first few minutes of opening day of Nebraska season. It being early, Bubba and Larry decide they're going to get back up in the stand. And wouldn't you know it, another trophy buck comes from a different direction right out in front of Bubba.
About 10 pointer right there. Look at this buck, Larry. He's limping.
Oh, yeah.
He's got long tines. Long tines. He's a trophy deer.
You want to shoot him?
Yeah,
for a trophy?
hell yeah.
There you go. He's coming right
Yeah,
at us.
he is. I'm gonna let him get on in here.
I got him anytime.
I just gotta get a broadside. I'm on him, Larry.
Come on, good. Right there.
Yeah, but I ain't got no broadside shot.
You're right there, ain't you? I'll just kill him.
I lost him. I gotta turn her down. There he is.
Down. Bust him.
Double down, baby. Double down.
We are done.
We are done. I'm going elk hunting. Look at him going. That's a beautiful buck.
Oh, he's cool.
Where'd he come from?
He just came out of that. I guess he came from them cedars, but he was out there in that tall grass, you know, with that other buck.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted you to look at him. He rang my bell when I looked at him. That's a beautiful 10. Larry, I got love on these deer now. I ain't gonna be able to sit up here much longer.
Sorry I made you hunt so long this morning.
Man, it was brutal. It was brutal. I really wanted to break my new gun in. 6.5 by 47 Lapua.
You know, Nebraska puts its rifle season on the rut, but this place down here is where you want to be in the rut, in my opinion. I like to come down in the mornings. There's so much activity, and there's so much cover, and there's so many things going on. It's a special place for that.
So the next morning, we're going back to this same blind in between the alfalfa field and the river bottom, which is the bedding area. So we get in there real early. As daylight starts cracking, we see just abundance of deer out in the fields. We start making out horns on them. We find eventually a really good management 8-pointer, and he's making his way right towards the blinds.
Brush Country Monsters is brought to you by Big and J Long Range Attractants. The aroma is super strong, the range is super long. Borden Accuracy, makers of the Rimrock, Alpine, and Timberline custom actions. The G7 BR2 Ballistic Rangefinder, built for the first shot. Swagger, the bipod with moves. Revolution Safe Company, inspired by Pendleton, rotating gun management made simple. And New Breed Archery. No hype, just hunt.
As daylight starts cracking, we see just abundance of deer out in the fields. We start making out horns on them. We find eventually a really good management 8-pointer, and he's making his way right towards the blinds. He ran about 20 yards and piled up, and we have our first Nebraska buck on the ground.
We just killed a big old management deer. These deer are still all in this field right here, so we're gonna load the reload. We're gonna reload the STW and start glassing. It's just his first light. So you can kill 2 deer in Nebraska. We just killed a big management deer. Big Tangerine 8-pointer. So we're gonna start glassing this other 50 deer that are out here.
So we decided there's so many deer in this food source that, you know, it's wide open, middle of the rut. We got 75 doe decoys, live decoys out in the field. This is the place we're gonna be. There's gotta be a giant buck.
Well, that's about it. Had a great morning here. The last couple of deer finally cleared the field, and we had a great morning. We probably saw 75 or 100 deer. We got in here about 2 hours before daylight, and when it started getting light enough to see, we could just see shadows all over the place. There was bucks of every description running around this morning. We had a big, nice, wide management 8. Came up here 75 or 100 yards and offered us a real good shot. And we're gonna get down now and go get our big, mature management 8-pointer that we shot this morning.
Don't put these on. That's a rally cap. I thought that's what they were for. Well, this is our big management 8-pointer. Second morning of the hunt. The landowner that's letting us hunt here, he wanted us to shoot one big management deer and then hunt for a trophy. So we saw a good trophy buck yesterday. We didn't see him this morning, but this 8 gave us a good opportunity. He wasn't 85, 100 yards, and that 7 STW with the Borden action and the Swarovski did its job. He ran about 20 yards and piled up here, big old bodied Nebraska deer, been eating all this corn and alfalfa. So we're gonna get him dealt with, and we're gonna get back in that blind.
Today we'll be continuing our series on elements of a custom rifle, and we'll be talking about rifle stocks.
The rifle stock is the interface between the shooter and the rifle. The stocks that we use are Kelvar graphite stocks made by McMillan and Manners. We offer every model made by both companies, basically. The thing that sets our stocks apart from everybody else is the way we bed them. We bed them with 5/8 radius pillars with ProBed 2000 all the way up through the recoil lug. We've got a gauge that we put on the guns that grabs the barrel and touches the stock. We test separation to 1,000. So when we get through, we're ensure we've got a perfect bedding job. We offer every stock, but one of our favorites is this Apex Hunter. This is a stock that we designed. It's made by Macmillan. This stock has got a sufficiently wide fore-end. It's got a thin wrist with an ambidextrous palm swell. It's got a negative cone that's going to help with the recoil reduction. This stock is available in Edge technology and comes in at about 1.5 pounds, and then we custom paint it. This is one of our favorite stocks, but we offer all of them. So if you want a custom rifle, the stock is the thing that you touch the most. It's going to be the most important thing. Give us a call today. Kyle will go over all the options, and we'll get you a custom rifle built in no time.
So join us next week as we continue the series, and we'll be talking about triggers.
And that's our on-target tip of the week, brought to you by McWhorter Custom Rifle. So the fourth morning of our hunt rolls around, we get in there an hour before daylight. There are deer everywhere. There's probably 125 deer in this field. We looked down right in front of the blind where Bubba had been sitting, which we know now is the hot spot, and there was a big frame buck down there. He walked behind that blind, got in some thick stuff. He's chasing this doe. We know where she's headed, so we prepare for that shot.
Here he is, right there, doe. That's him right there behind in that gap. He's gonna come through this gap. This is gonna be the last gap. That's all we got right there. Gap right here, this big Russian olive right here. He's got his head up in those trees right there. Right under that T-olive, right before you get to this gap right here. Not that one. He's to the right of that, under that T-olive. Okay. Oh, yep, get on him. Meh.
My second Nebraska buck is on the ground.
Man, good deal. That's a deer we call Whitey. He's the best deer we've seen up here. We think he's a big 8. We couldn't tell. We saw him at 500 and something, and he was in some thick cattails and whatnot. We didn't get a shot. Couldn't get the camera on him. Couldn't get the shot. And we've been after him for a couple days here, and he didn't like that 195 bird a bit. Good Lord. Man, you can forget all your tracking skills, or you don't need them no more when you shoot these. About 275 yards. We're shooting one of our 7 STWs on a boarding action with a Hart barrel. We got a Swarovski with a custom turret on top, and man, just waylaid this big old Nebraska buck. We killed a nice management 8-pointer earlier. We've been hunting with Larry Ellis at EWA Outfitting up here off the North Platte River, and we've seen up to 100 deer a day, and this is the best deer we've seen. We've seen some other real good deer, and we killed a big management deer earlier in the week, because you can kill 2 bucks up here in Nebraska. So we've been after this deer we call Whitey for a couple days, and he got in the field. We saw him, we got turned around, and then he left, and we were panicking, and he's coming across this little sage flat here in these Russian olives, and 10 more yards, he'd have been out of where we couldn't have seen him with a camera, gotten a shot. So we looked up this morning, the McWhorter did its job, and we got our second giant Nebraska buck down. Headed to Illinois in a couple of days, but man, it feels good. We've had a kind of a rough season this year, and we got to catch up out here. Larry, EWA, North Platte River, Nebraska.
So our buck's down in his tracks, our rifle and our bullet, our optic system, everything's done a perfect job. We climb down, we navigate the waterway so we get over to our buck.
Where is he, there?
And he's a beautiful, big, heavy-horned, 5.5-year-old 8-pointer, heavy mass, good long tines, just a perfect Nebraska specimen.
November the 15th, and this is our culmination of our Nebraska hunt. We're up here with EWA Outfitting and Larry Ellis hunting the North Platte River. We've had a great week. We killed a good 8-pointer earlier in the week, and We killed this buck this morning. We've hunted hard. We've seen some good deer, and we actually thought this was a different buck this morning, but he didn't give us a lot of time to look at him. He's fixing to cross this creek and be back in these Russian olives and be gone. So we took the S7 STW on the boarding action and the heart barrel and the Swarovski scope, and we put that 195 burger to work. And this is where he was standing, fixing to take a step when I shot, and this is where he went.
Man, Nebraska was great. This is the second year in a row we've gone to Nebraska. We've hunted along waterways both times. We've seen multiple deer. Last year we went to a different area. We were seeing 75, 100 deer a day. We can't wait to get back to Nebraska this year. We'll be there.
What a beautiful place to hunt. It's always fun hunting new places, isn't it? Until next week, always remember to keep God and family first.